One thing I bring back, we used to have electric trolley buses. I put food growing on flat roofs. If you look around, you'll see many, many flat roofs, and that could give us a lot more area to grow food locally. Again, I've gone for what Jean's gone for, and that's more fruit trees and more nut trees around. So it's looking at plantings. It could also be looking at plantings around the edge of parks. If you look round the edge of the Fairfield Park, all you've got is huge trees. That would enable people to actually get free food.
And then on the back, mine just says, the Kingston of the future, a right royal dream.
There's allotments there. I think everybody should be encouraged to grow things, you know, as many as you can possibly get. Trees, there's the park, and also sports, more activity for sports. So one of the things I've put on the back is many more creative activities. That means right from sports through to philosophy.
Using the river, so there's a boat, and that's kind of connecting with the different towns around as well. So using that as a way of transport, and little bus, more cycle lanes as well. Marketplaces, so like you said, with the boutiques and the shops, and so more of those little ones and less of the bigger ones. Trying to get rid of supermarkets, like, you know, the huge Tesco's and B&Q's and all that as well. And focusing on re-education of skills that have been lost. So skill sharing, I think it's called, where you have workshops, and especially for kind of younger generation, teaching them how to sew again, or how to, you know, basic home economics, and really, really silly, small things that, you know, we took for granted in the 50s, and now we've completely lost in the noughties.
Power is coming back, you know, and that could really expand. So it would really have a green heart, and this is like little communities, different communities, all giving something in and taking something out, and feeling like they're getting what they need.
5-star Kingston, which I think is the same as your theme. People will want to come and emulate what we got in Kingston. And I kept the pound signs for prosperity and investment, plus time to enjoy. So a bit of a slower pace of life, which enables this community, we're getting the theme. So they're people's houses with people outside who know each other and engage with each other and look after each other to some extent.
I want to see more outward-looking engagement with the rest of the world, especially the poorest countries.
Very simple. It's symbolic. It's about having a close-knit community, but it's at a global level. We are getting to a stage where there is a community forming, but you see the same people. And I believe 80% of the people are not really engaged. And it's really being inclusive and somehow attracting them. And they are the peoples, if there is change to take place, we need to get them engaged. It's involvement of all people, really. The culture has got to change if we want to create a sustainable future. I've said people plus nature equal to Kingston.
So something about a spiritual sense of what we're here for as a community and as a group of people living together.
I'm intrigued to know what it was that brought you here today, and what was the hook, or what were you interested in?
Curiosity.
Curiosity for.
We didn't know what to expect.
What a challenge! How are we? And it'd be great to hear from Maria and Nicole as well, as representatives of our younger age group. What is it that you think will be a way to bring in people to come and join in this community, in these community events that are going to be about using sort of arts and creative media to explore past, present and future of Kingston, and ideas for the future, for a better Kingston, as we've already all been doing today?
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What's the general feeling about environment and change amongst your group of people?
This is why I have a massive issue with
I had to ask that one.
It's a sad fact that a lot of people just honestly don't care.
19 to 25 age group are probably very pressurised time-wise.
Well,
you know,
say that.
Well, maybe not at the university,
Yeah.
but people who, if they're in work, you know, at that point in time and so on, there's a lot going on there.
I think the Sustainability Hub should ask the students. We're all talking about it, we don't know. It seems obvious to me that you need to do a little survey and say, what would you bring, what would bring
what
you?
would make them
Free beer, that would
That's
get
definitely
me.
something we can do.
Or what do you like to do? What is your thing? What, you know, find out what people are interested in and tailor it around.
There's something that's very similar to what you've just said. I think perhaps instead of huge events or big kind of, yes, you must do this, or saying, you know, you must dedicate this much time to do this in order to build this. I think if you shift it slightly and say, well, you know, first of all, catering for their needs or what they want. So in very subtle, smaller ways, perhaps have, you know, a small art exhibition. There's a fantastic art school just down the road. And if we have an exhibition which kind of explores these ideas visually, that's addressing that category of people. And then you've got perhaps a food group, I think something similar that you started, and that addresses these issues with people who are interested in food, and then they kind of see, oh right, so this is what you're, you know, what you're encouraging, and then it comes in through that way. So it's more to do with showing them the vision and then showing them the way to get there. And I think
Personal invitation. Yeah,
Yes.
okay, some people didn't turn up, but if we badger them, you know, and they come and then they find out it's good,
All
you
the
know.
selling in the past has been about personal success, about individuality, about, you know, materialism. And what we need to sell is a completely different lifestyle, a slower lifestyle, more community, bringing people together, being able to enjoy environment. If that is promoted as an alternative, a viable alternative, there might be a
change the picture just there.
Say a bit more, Maria. Can you say a bit more?
Change sort of like a sort of...
Is it a video?
Play group or something.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a
play
nurse-
group,
yeah,
crash,
a
okay.
bit-
So
yeah.
something really
Yeah.
a little cooler. I don't know how to.
We probably need something a bit sharper, you know, something a bit more challenging maybe for the younger side, you know, sort of, you know, and then there's something, maybe, you know, almost two different halves to it, don't you think? Because we're talking about demographics and target marketing and things like that Marta was talking about. I think, you know, some of these things are going to work for one group and not for the other, and we have got that big split, haven't we?
It'd be really interesting to hear what kind of values do you want to be part of? What would you like to see happen?
I'd like us to start to make some of the changes that we've talked about. So where we share a vision, that seems to be a really good jumping off point to saying, well, we could make some of this start to happen. And
getting more people, a wider audience, that's where we need to spend some time and effort. And, you know, you can only make things happen if we get a lot more people involved. We can make changes to the way supermarkets work, we can make, you know, redirect what council might be doing and so on and so forth. If we've got bigger, you know, people, a bigger mass of people behind.
I'd quite like to see, the creative side of it, because it's not often you get that many sustainable events, sort of with the creative arty side, but that would be quite interesting, I think. Also just finding out more about Kingston in the past as well, I think it's quite interesting for me to hear about, because I'm still a newcomer, I don't know that much about it.
Nowadays, as an artist, what is my responsibility? How can I respond to this? How can I, you know, move it forward? How can I act? So that's kind of where my interests lie. But yeah, action, seeing something being done. It's wonderful talking, but you also have to do.
Influence change in the future. That's, you know, unless it ends up with change taking place, we've all wasted our time.